Monday, President Biden said he was more optimistic than ever about the future. Isn't he afraid or concerned that part of his legacy could be or is about to be erased by the incoming president?
I mean, look, when I answered this question about, it was a polling question from Kayla, I also talked about, in my answering that question, how popular some of the things that the president has done. CHIPS and Science Act, bipartisan infrastructure legislation, the PACT Act, and even the provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act. And I talked about the insulin being the insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Those are things, all of those things that I just laid out are popular with the American people. And that is something that the incoming administration has to think about, Republicans on the other side of Pennsylvania has to think about. These are things that are incredibly popular. Some of them, bipartisan infrastructure legislation, CHIPS and Science Act, the PACT Act, were done in a bipartisan way. And so to undo those successes, some of the things that, again, popular with the American people, you know, that's something that they have to seriously think about. And, you know, what we have done in those historic pieces of legislation that obviously is now law will have lasting effects on people's lives, lasting effect. So he's very confident about that.
And one about foreign policy, because President Biden said his presidency restored the U.S. credibility in the world. Jen Psaki actually said that in her first briefing here, that he was going to do this. But when we talk to foreign leaders or diplomats around, many say that the inconsistency of the U.S. foreign policy is making it harder to work together and really trust that the U.S. can be a reliable ally. So what do you tell them?
Inconsistency?
Yeah, of the U.S. foreign policy. Make it hard to work and trust that the U.S. can be a reliable ally. So what message do you give it to them?
What's the inconsistency?
Well, one administration come and do a lot of Cuba and Paris and all, and then you put it back, and now again it's about to be, you know, undo. So
I'm not going to get into what the next administration is going to do, not going to do. What I can talk about is what the president wanted to make sure that he got done in his 4 years here, which is restore the reputation of the United States, which he was able to do. Get things done on behalf of the American people and make sure that we really mended our relationships with our partners and allies. And that's what you were able to do. You don't expand NATO if it wasn't for this president and his relationships and his experience, right? You don't support Ukraine the way that it was supported by more than 50 countries, the way that it was able to get what it needed to really be on the ground. Remember, Kyiv was supposed to fall within days. That didn't happen. That didn't happen because of this president's leadership. I'm not going to get into what the next president's going to do or not do. And let's not forget today. Today was a big day in the foreign policy space to get this hostage deal done. Hostages are going to go home. We're going to be able to get humanitarian aid surge into Gaza. And we're hopefully going to end this war. And that is incredibly important. All right, guys, I have to
quick
go.
follow-up about your successor. Have you been in touch with Caroline yet? Were you able to?
I was just asked this question. I have not been in touch with her, but I certainly wish her well. Thanks, everybody.
Karine, why have you not been in touch with her?
Come talk to me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.